part of Project 571, genetically engineered vampire created to destroy evil.
What do you want?
We need your help to kill a vampire.
Malleus Maleficario. It was written by a witch. The first witch. Caneiro.
That was a little snippet from The Witch's Hammer, the first film I ever solo directed, and it's just been remastered and re-released on Amazon. So if you like witches and vampires, then please do check it out. Anyway, let's get on with this week's episode. Hi, Jim here, and you're listening to the Honest Filmmaker podcast. This week I'm joined by filmmaker Daniel M. Caneiro. Hi Daniel, how you doing?
Hi Jim. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for joining me. So what we're going to talk about today is your latest film, which is called Deviant, which is having a pretty good, successful festival run at the moment. But let's start off. Tell me a bit about project. Tell me the story. What's it about?
About Deviant. Okay, that I don't know how to explain Deviant without spoilers. Horror comedy. I always tease the audience in festivals saying it's a Christmas all family film, which is not. It's a Christmas film because it's set in Christmas, and it's a story about a guy who gets trapped between a like Tinder app, gets trapped in the basement of an old man. He has to escape from that. So it's a different kind of movie because it's a comedy, as I said. It's a black humor comedy, which I don't know. It's going very well in festivals, also internationally. It's been sold, I think, to 10, 15 countries. I don't know, more or less. So I'm very happy with it, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a lot of things I want to dig into there. Definitely want to talk about sales and distribution. But the first thing that strikes me is comedy horror,
Yeah.
which fills me with a little bit of fear because I think if I was producing a film, I would worry about getting the comedy element out there, even though I love comedy horror. But this sounds to me like it's going to sound strange me saying this, but it sounds like a personal / artistic project rather than something you've written to sell and to get out into the world. Is that fair to say, do you think?
Okay, I think it's fair. Well, I see, I'm Spanish, so for me, author films, it's like the normal basis for films. I think behind every film, there's an author, even if it's a Marvel movie. We have the studios behind, but we have a director, a writer, an executive producer who mixed are the authors of these films. But in this case, yeah, I consider it a lot of author film because I'm writing it, directing it, and co-producing it. We're four producers, I think, in all the movie. And also, yeah, if you watch a film, it's for me, I say it's a comedy. It's an entertaining comedy. It's if you only want to get entertained and don't think about it, it's a good film, I think, to watch and forget about it. But it also has layers if you want to see behind it. So yeah, for me that's part of the definition of an author film. And in this case, it may feel this way also because when I wrote this film was never intended to get made.
Right.
I wrote it only for my amusement. I was on vacation with my family, and while they were napping or whatever, I started writing because I work in film and television, but I do a lot of production and directing too, but not writing a lot. And when I have the time, I love writing. So I wrote Deviant just as okay. Let's do something which I love to see in a movie. This comedy horror. I love comedy horror. I know it's hard for people maybe to do it. For me, it's like I don't know. It's like swimming. Once you make one, it's like it's easy for me thinking about comedy in horror also. But for me, it's harder to do only a pure genre movie. A pure horror, a pure drama. if I'm writing something, it's always I see comedy bits a lot
Yeah.
of things, you know.
And you're on this lovely family holiday,
Yeah.
and this is what you write.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And that's fine. I do the same. I do the same myself. I suppose that's how you exercise your own demons, is through these scripts.
That's part of the thing, you know. Yeah.
And how was the film funded?
Actually, this film, it's not all, but mostly all funded through government grants, you know, with public funding. Because
Hmm.
we in Spain and more part of Europe, we have these public funds that help a lot, you know, to raise funding for movies, and which is maybe 80% of the movie. I don't know, maybe 75, 80% of the movie, and the other financing came, you know, through the other co-producers that put one of them. It's a school which is a SCAC, which put you know, equipment, cameras, rigs, whatever.
Right. And for people who are going after that public funding themselves, what would be your advice?
Okay. I think it depends on the country you live in, because one thing in this movie is that it was funded in Spain, but not in Catalan. I'm Catalan. You know, Spain has different regions, you know, and it was funded in Basque country, which it's strange because usually you get funded if you live in the region, you know, and
Hmm.
as I said, I'm Catalan. I'm writer, director, so you know, it's, I don't know, it's full Catalan movie, you can say it. But I get funded by a government grant in Basque Country. They had this grant that was intended to be for low budget movies, which I
Hmm.
don't know if it still exists anymore. But it was great because it was for movies. How it's called? That no more than 500K. You know,
Yep.
which ours it's very very down there. So um and we get that funding. Actually, I think we were the first in line. My script was the best one, you know, um, in this application, and this is strange because in Catalonia I tried to raise this money through
Mm.
public funds, but I haven't got the chance because in Catalonia our public grants maybe favor another kind of movies, not horror
Mm.
mostly, maybe once and then maybe one horror movie, but it should be one, you know, big name horror movie, not independent, not low budget. But in Basque Country, I had this chance, so that's why we moved that, and we shoot the movie there. So
Mm.
it's important to say too. My advice for public grants is, you know, just look how they work in your region, and if they fund your kind of movie or screenplay you wrote, you know, because just for not losing time mostly, you know, because I don't know in other countries, but here in Catalonia and in Basque countries the same. You can apply once in a year. So if you don't get funding this year, you have to wait another year, 12 months, you know. And if you don't get funding twice, it's 3 years, and so on and so on and so on. So study them very good, you know, that okay, which kind of movies they do or they fund. Speak with them. Actually, in Catalonia, I think in Basque country is the same, but we have like a good relationship. You can call the people
Mm.
that run these grants and tell, okay, I had this kind of movie. How do you think it is? You think that this, you know, this crazy film Deviant is for Catalan film? And actually, they would say maybe not, but try it anyway. They are very polite. They will never say no. But if you
Mm.
read between the lines, you can, you know if it fits this grant or not. Or also you can, you know, try to get some accommodation to your screenplay or whatever in order to make it funding this way, you know.
Yeah. Okay, that's good advice. So speak to them before you apply and ensure that the project you're submitting is the type of thing that they fund. And now that you've said that, I really can't see a British public funding body giving money to a horror comedy. I might be wrong, but it does seem like the sort of genre they might steer away from. So that's amazing that you got that money. So going back to the beginning with this, so you said I wrote this, didn't think I was going to make it. What point did you go, oh, okay, right, we're going to do this one?
Okay, actually, it happened through when I finished my first movie. In English, it's God's Hill, I think, El Cerro de los Dioses. I was doing the festival tour, like for every country. And just in Basque Country, there's a film festival, which is Fund Bilbao, which is a very good festival. I've been there with a lot of my short films and my first movie, also Deviant. And there I reconnected with a colleague producer that I met at Frontiers, so in Montreal, Canada, years before, and we, I don't know, we got along. We loved horror movies, so I reconnected with him there, and between drinks wherever in the festival, he asked me, "Hey, don't you happen to have a screenplay? Two people, one location?" I say, "Hey, yeah, I have something like this, but it's very crazy. But okay, let me watch it and read it." And so he read it, and like a month after that, we applied to the grant, and 3 months later we had this grant. So it
Wow.
was like very easy. It's not usually it's not like this, but
Yes.
the the twist plot in this story is that all happened. I think they gave us the grant. It was 2019 December, so 2 months later, big pandemic, so
Mm,
everything gets stuck. And for a low budget movie, that's the worst thing it can happen, because public grants are awesome. It's like, I won't say free money, but it's like money. It's not yours, so it takes a lot of the risk and headaches from a producer. But the thing is that you're on a clock. So in this case, if I don't recall bad, it's we had like 18 months to begin production. So as you can imagine, yeah, with pandemics, all production, big, small, wherever it was, stuck like maybe 1 year and a half. But luckily, we could speak with the government people. They understand it and gave us some more time, but not a lot of more time. So
mhm.
so that's the downside of the story, is that happened.
Yeah, yeah. But you got there, you got to make it, and you've just highlighted one of the big advantages of going to things like film festivals and all of those types of events is you do connect with
Oh,
people
yeah,
and you do have those conversations in the bar that sort of turn into
yeah,
a film being made. And wow, that's quick to go from here it is, apply, get the money. Sounds amazing. Hope that happens to me. Hope that happens to everyone listening. Um, so the other thing I noticed, oh, sorry, so you're talking about countries buying the film.
yeah,
So how have you handled sales and distribution? Is it with a sales agent,
yeah.
or are you going country by country yourself? What's the
No,
plan there?
we have a sales agent, a UK one, Resonate they call it. So they are selling it country by country, and they are in charge of everything. So they are very good. I love them. So yeah.
So talk to me about directing. So how do you approach that? So you've written the script, you've got it in front of you. What do you do next?
Okay. It depends on the project, actually. So in Deviant, we had like very little time to do rehearsals or whatever. We had like maybe a week, I think. But the good thing is that the main character, Alain, it's a friend of mine. He's Catalan too, so he lives in the same town where I live. So we talked a lot about the movie. Like a year ago. He was one of the first confirmed cast. In yeah, even before we submitted to the public grant. So he was, always thinking, "Oh, my character, I think, is this way. Danny, how do you think about it?" So, and he's like 99% of the movie. I think there's maybe two shots, or maybe not two, but maybe it's 15 or 20 shots where he's not in the movie. So he's mostly, sorry, that's my dog. But so for me, it was very important that to have time with him. And I could have less time with the other actors, which are very well known actors and very well actors also in Spain.
All sounds amazing. So then you talked a bit about those conversations you have with your cast, and they're super important. And I know myself, I wish I got more time. I get more time with cast, especially the lead. You've got to have those conversations, and sometimes it's weird. Those conversations go in strange directions, and maybe you go in somewhere that doesn't pan out, but it's worth exploring that and coming back to where you originally were. So what about somebody who wants to be a director? What advice would you give them to make their first movie, get into the industry?
Okay. Also, it depends in the country you live in. But for me, the best way to learn direction is it's to direct, and and just do short films, whatever you want to do. Nowadays, with a phone, you can do whatever you want. So there's no excuses. I'm 47 years old. I began in the industry like in editing, and I was editing, through film, so real film. So that's I learned the value of money, when I split a film into pieces. And shooting it was the same. It was very difficult to shoot in 35 16 millimeter because it was very expensive. But nowadays it's very easy with digital and a computer and a phone. You can do whatever you want. So shoot movies, and shoot features. I always encourage all people to shoot a feature film. Do short film. I love short films too, but for me it's not. You don't. I think you don't have to think about doing short films to do my feature, because I think there's two different kinds of uh, of of everything, actually, of projects and how to. So I do not address a short film the same way as a feature. It's very different, a feature in Deviant, we had like 4 weeks shooting every day, like every day, 5 days a week. But it's very time consuming, and you have, as a director, it's not only have to be an artist, author, or whatever. You have to learn how to measure your energy, because you're shooting. Well, we were shooting like 12, 14 hours a day. So it's you have to know, well, your capabilities, and how to extend them to the film. And that's why I always encourage, do a film, and if you are capable to do a film 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever time you want. uh, I will not encourage a year, because I have some people saying, "Oh yeah, we're shooting it, and weekends, whatever." It's not the same. It's like doing uh, short films in between, no. But I think it's very important, because that will give you, like, the skills to in the future, do whatever you want in a big film with a budget or whatever. I was tell my first feature, it was a very low budget, ultra low budget one. It was like cost like 17K. So and it was mostly an improv movie. We had a screenplay, but it was because we didn't have any money. I was rewriting it every day after shooting, because every day producing came and say, okay, tomorrow we had this scene, but we can have this thing. Or they say, okay, I say no worries, and I rewrite everything. So for me, that was the best school, because I studied film direction in a film school here in Barcelona. But that
Right.
that gave me a lot of skills, maybe in narrative, you know in how to frame, how to tell the audience with framing and narrative in screenwriting. But it's not the same as, as being on set and shooting, and with everything falling apart and you don't lose nerve. It's very difficult to do that, and I think it's one skill you have to if you want to direct. You cannot break down. That's the worst thing you can do. If you break down, you have an entire crew that won't follow up. So for me, the best advice is, film, do movies.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think, like you say, people fall into a trap of thinking a short film has to be a stepping stone to a feature film
Yeah.
when it absolutely doesn't.
It could
And
be.
yeah,
It could be.
breaking, yeah,
It could be, but it's not for me. It's not the way.
No.
Not different kind of. It's like working on television or on film or advertisement. It's very different. Short film, feature film, two different kinds of things.
Yeah, and that like the other thing you said there that was interesting about not shooting over a long period of time. Completely agree with that. I have done that in the past, and it is painful,
Yeah,
and it's hard to keep that momentum up of everything moving, and it can be quite expensive doing it that way
yeah.
because you're having to get everything back and everyone in the same place and
And
locations.
you lose crew along the
Yeah, you
time.
lose people, cast, you've got to recast, you've got to do all these different things. So yeah, shooting in a block is always advisable. And then the last thing you said was about breaking down. So have you done that yourself? Have you had a moment where you've just gone, oh God, I can't do this? Or have you managed to just get through it all?
Uh, I don't think so. Uh, I had these times, but I don't know. I think I'm wired like this. I'm always like, okay, going forward, and no matter what, keep shooting, even if the what you shoot it today it was you think is absolute shit. Which I think every film director thinks that in some in some days that you think, okay, what I did today because of whatever, production issues or the cast or you weren't inspired or whatever. You can think it's it's a shitty scene what I shoot, but I always because I learned film. I will say that I learned editing. I always think, okay, I will fix it in post.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is it's the worst line you can say in a in a production. But actually, when I'm directing, when I'm writing, I'm thinking in editing. I'm
Mm,
editing. When I'm directing, I'm editing too. So when something happens, I'm thinking, okay, how I can do that so it makes sense in editing. And then that's like my way of coping, for trouble or whatever. So I usually don't break down. In my first film, the climax of the film was we shoot like 15 days I think, and we shoot it in the 13th, so fuck 13th day. And it was like a big ritual outside in a not a forest but in the mountains, and we were shooting with natural light, with fire, not with artificial light, because I wanted it to be fire. So stupid of me. And it was forecast maybe some raining, but everyone was chill, like, don't worry about it. It will be like 20 minutes. We have these tents here, so we can go there and whatever. And in this scene, we had like sorry, it's a spoiler for my movie, but a creature, emerging from a cave, and it was full latex. I think a lot of the movie of the money of the movie went to that creature. And then it was the I don't know how it's a diluvian, a big rain, like
mm,
it was like 3 hours straight raining, like
mm,
hard raining. And all the people of the crew, we were like 40 people of the crew in tents like this, having it was very cold too because we were in the mountains. And we, we had, well, the producers, one of the producers, he broke down and said, Danny, what the do we do? Because we begin shooting, but only first part of the ritual. Then the creature emerges, but it's only one shot that we had, and we had to do all the final. We had like a schedule, like a heart being ripped off, whatever. It was like a 5 minutes piece, which ended being, I think, 30 seconds or 45 in editing. But I just ask, okay, give me 50 minutes. I get inside the car because I can get, I can think without all the people moaning and wherever in the tents. And after these 50 minutes, I reunited with my script guy, and ask him some questions about editing. Okay, hey, do you remember first week we did that? We did that too. Okay, we have this line. Okay, okay, yes, that, yeah, no, that, no, okay, 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 okay. And I told him, do you think that will work? And I tell this line with the shoot with it, and that's what we do at the end. Because when it finished raining, the creature it was not a horror one, it was a drama one, because all the latex was falling
Oh,
apart. Yeah, we had to put a lot of CGI in that shoot
right.
after that. But we shoot like 2-3 more shoots in the movie, and I changed the ending. That's the
Yeah.
thing. So I think you have to be open to changes in a movie, and more if it's a low budget one.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I've been there myself. And I think that, like you say, the skill of being an editor really helps,
Oh, yeah.
because like you say, you're logging these shots in your head and you're thinking, when I leave the set today, if I'm not allowed back in this location, have I at least got a scene that I can put in the film?
Oh, yeah.
And if you can tell yourself that, then you're in a happy place. I'll just finish up with a question I ask all of my guests, which is, have you got a motto? Have you got like something you say to yourself when you go into a film, or that keeps you on the tracks?
Yeah. It's not, I think, a motto, but I always tell people, because people tell me, "Hey, Danny, how do you do to make your films?" Because it's my films like Deviant or the first one, Cerro de las Dioses. It's not the typical films that get funded in Spain. You know, we in Spain we're known for horror movies, but it's very difficult to fund horror movies in Spain. And I would say the only advice I have is be stupid. Be stupid, be foolish, be whatever the word you feel better with it, you know. But I would say I'm stupid, because I keep, stumbling in the same big wall with my head, you know, and keep punching with my head, and I keep doing it because I want to do my film, and I don't know, that's the way I know how to do that. I don't try to, I don't know, to do other things. And so being stupid, I think it prevents me for a lot of things, you know, in the industry. Because for my first movie, for instance, on another movie is one I'm just funding right now, you have a lot of producers that maybe like it. Okay, if we change that and we change that, and maybe if you don't direct and direct another people, maybe we can funding that way. So I'm stupid because I say, oh, no, don't worry. I will keep. I'll keep doing it my way, because I want to do it in my way. If I do these changes, that's not my movie anymore. You know.
Great advice.
So I don't know if it's a great advice, but
You know, it is, Beast. Yeah, I like it. You have got a kind of, sometimes you do have to just power through and trust your own instincts. Definitely.
Yeah. You say it better than me. Trust your instincts.
Trust your instincts. Don't be stupid, but you can be stupid if you want.